Barcelona El Prat Airport, simply known as Barcelona Airport, is located 12 km southwest of the center of Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain, lying in the municipalities of El Prat de Llobregat, Viladecans, and Sant Boi. The airport is the second largest in Spain behind Madrid Barajas Airport and 31st busiest in the world, and is the main airport of Catalonia. It is a main base for Vueling, a hub for Iberia Regional and low-cost giant Ryanair, as well as a focus city for Air Europa. The airport mainly serves domestic, European and North African destinations, also having flights to Middle East, Asia, Latin America, North America and Subsaharian Africa. The airport was a hub for Spanair before it suspended services on January 27, 2012. The Barcelona-Madrid air shuttle service, known as the Puente or Copyright Rio, or Pont Aeri literally air bridge, was the world's busiest route until 2008, with the highest number of flight operations in 2007. The schedule has been reduced since February 2008, when a Madrid-Barcelona high-speed rail line was opened, covering the distance in 2 hours 30 minutes, and quickly became popular. In 2011 nearly 34.4 million passengers used Barcelona Airport, a 17.8% increase compared with 2010. In 2012, Barcelona Airport handled 35.1 million passengers, making it the only of the major airports of Spain to report an increase. In 2013 Barcelona Airport handled 35,210,735 passengers. Currently, Barcelona El Prat is the 10th busiest airport in Europe, just behind London Gatwick Airport and right in front of the Moscow Domodedovo Airport. From February 2014 Barcelona El Prat was the first Spanish airport to receive a daily Airbus A380 operated by Emirates on its routes to Dubai International Airport, an important milestone in its history. Barcelona's first airfield, located at El Remola, began operations in 1916. However, it did not have good expansion prospects, so a new airport at El Prat opened in 1918. The first plane was a LATA copyright Crowry Samson 300 which arrived from Toulouse with final destination, Casablanca. The airport was used as headquarters of the Aero Club of Catalonia and a base for the Spanish Navy's Zeppelin fleet. Scheduled commercial service began in 1927 with an Iberia service to Madrid Cuatro Vientos Airport. This was Iberia's first route. During the time of the Second Spanish Republic El Prat was one of the bases of LAPE. In 1948, a runway was built, today 07-25. In the same year the first overseas service was operated by Pan American World Airways to New York City, using a Lockheed Constellation. Between 1948 and 1952, a second runway was constructed, perpendicular to the previous, also taxiways were constructed and a terminal to accommodate passengers. In 1963, the airport reached 1 million passengers a year. A new control tower was built in 1965 and the terminal was rebuilt in 1968. On August 3, 1970, Pan American World Airways inaugurated regular service between Barcelona, Lisbon and New York, operated by a Boeing 747. On November 4 of the same year, Iberia began the air shuttle service between Barcelona and Madrid Barajas. A few years later, in 1976, a terminal was built specifically for Iberia's air shuttle service and a terminal exclusively for cargo, an annexed mail service and an aircraft ramp for air cargo. In 1977, the airport handled over 5 million passengers annually. From the late 70s to the early 90s, the airport was stalled in traffic and investments until the 1992 Summer Olympics held in Barcelona. El Prat underwent a major development consisting in the modernization and expansion of the existing terminal and the construction of the other two, which included jetways for direct access to the aircraft. This reform was designed by architect Ricardo Bofill Levi. In 1992, a new control tower was inaugurated, also designed by Ricardo Bofill Levi. A new control tower was opened in 2006. The new Terminal 1 was inaugurated on June 16, 2009, covering 545,000 miles squared. 70% of today's flights operate from Terminal 1. The old Terminals A, B and C are now Terminal 2. Due to the strong drop in air traffic after 1999 and the crisis in the aviation sector in 2001, many charter operations from Girona and Reus were diverted to El Prat, which helped the airport to survive the crisis. On 1 February 2014, Barcelona-El Prat was the first Spanish airport to receive a daily flight with the Airbus A380, on the Emirates route to Dubai International Airport. It has also been announced that in 2015, Transaero Airlines will bring daily their A380 to Barcelona for its routes to Moscow. One of the main airlines that operates out of Barcelona, Norwegian Air Shuttle, has announced its intention of starting long-haul routes out of Barcelona-El Prat, from 2016, to destinations such as New York John F. Kennedy International Airport and/or Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi Airport, operated by Boeing 787 aircraft. Operations. Most of the traffic at Barcelona Airport is domestic and European, in which Vueling has an operational base. Intercontinental connections have not generated a significant amount of passenger traffic during the last years. In the early 21st century, the number of passengers carried and the number of operations increased significantly. Low-cost airline traffic grew significantly, especially after the creation of operating bases by Vueling and Clicker at the airport. Vueling and Clicker merged in July 2009, operating under the Vueling name. Other low-cost airlines operate from the airport, including Ryanair, EasyJet, Norwegian Air Shuttle, EasyJet Switzerland, Wizz Air and Transavia.com. A new base was established at the airport in September 2010. The airport has 3 runways, 2 parallel, nominated 07L/25R and 07R/25L, and a cross-runway 02/20. There are 2 terminals, T2, which is the sum of the previous terminals A, B and C, located on the north side of the airport, and T1, on the west side, which opened on June 16, 2009. As of 2014, the 2 terminals had a combined total of 268 check-in counters and 64 boarding gates. Operations at the airport are restricted exclusively to instrument flight rules flights, except for sanitary, emergency and government VFR flights. A plan for expansion was completed in 2009, adding a 3rd terminal building and control tower. An additional runway was also built. The airport became capable of handling 55 million passengers annually. The airport expanded in area from 8.45 to 15.33 square kilometers. Further expansion was planned to be finished by 2012, with a new satellite terminal to raise capacity to 70 million passengers annually. The airport is the subject of a political discussion over management and control between the Generalitat of Catalonia and the Spanish government, which has involved AENA and various airlines, Iberia and Spanair mainly. Part of the controversy is about the benefits that the airport generates, which are used in maintenance and investments in other airports in the network of AENA and government investments in other economic areas. Terminals. Terminal 1. A new Terminal 1 designed by Ricardo Bofill was inaugurated on June 16, 2009. It is the 5th largest in the world, and has an area of 548,000 am2, and an aircraft ramp of 600,000 am2. Its facilities include 258 check-in counters, 60 jetways, 15 baggage carousels and 24,000 parking spaces, in addition to the 12,000 already in the Terminal 2. The forecast is that the airport will be able to handle 55 million passengers annually and will reach 90 operations an hour. The extension of the airport with a total investment of $5.1 billion in the future will include a new satellite terminal and refurbishment of existing terminals. The civil engineering phase of the South Terminal has been made possible by a budget of $1 billion. Terminal 2. Terminal 2 was also designed by Ricardo Bofill Levi. It was designed in order to expand the airport before the arrival of the Olympic Games in Barcelona in 1992. It has 3 areas, A, B and C. Following the opening of Terminal 1 in 2009, Terminal 2 became nearly empty until the airport authorities lowered landing fees to attract low-cost and regional carriers to fill the terminal, although nowhere near full capacity. Currently, Terminal 2 is divided in the same three areas, 2A, 2B and 2C, airlines and destinations. Passenger airlines, cargo airlines, busiest airlines, statistics. Ground transportation, rail. Terminal 2 has its own Rodalies-Barcelona commuter train station on the line, which runs from the Moore section and at Marseilles station every 30 minutes, with major stops at Barcelona Sants railway station and the fairly central Passeig de Gràcia railway station to provide transfer to the Barcelona metro system, also in Clot station. Passengers for T1 must take a connecting bus from Terminal 2B to Terminal 1. As part of a major expansion above, a new railway station will be built in Terminal 1, connecting the airport to the Spanish Avenue network, and Line 9 of the Barcelona Metro. Road. The Transports Metropolitans de Barcelona public bus line 46 runs from Plasection a Spanair. A scheduled private bus line from Plasection a Catalonia, stops at Urgell and Plasection de Spanair. Taxi stops are available at each terminal. The C32B highway connects the airport to a main traffic interchange between Barcelona's Ronda de Dalt Beltway and major motorways. Bus Plana official transfer from Barcelona Airport to Costa Dorada, the bus stop is in Terminal 1. There is provision for parking cars at the airport, with about 24,000 parking spaces. Taxi from Barcelona Airport. Traveling by taxi is a low-cost and convenient way to get from the airport to the city centre, especially if you have a family or a lot of luggage. You will find a taxi rank outside any of the main terminal exits, Terminal 1 or Terminal 2. Look for the sign pointing to the nearest taxi rank. The taxis operate all night and there are several hundred of them, so you don't have to worry about not being able to catch a cab. The journey to the city centre will take you between 25 to 40 minutes depending on road conditions. If you are travelling from Terminal 1 rather than Terminal 2, this will add an extra 4 km to your journey and take approximately 5 minutes more. Children under the age of 12 must be seated in the back seat of the car and supervised so that they do not distract the driver. Eating, drinking and smoking are not permitted during the ride, even if the driver and passenger agree otherwise. The taxi is required to admit blind passengers accompanied by seeing eye dogs. If you have special needs, it's better to book in advance your taxi from Barcelona Airport to your destination. There are a lot of local companies that provide prepaid booking services. You can see the list at InStitch at Metropolità del Taxi website, Barcelona Tourism Bureau, Book Taxi Barcelona website or book Easier Taxi with Taxi Barcelona transfer English-speaking taxi service in Barcelona. Taxi fare. Expect to pay around a 30.00 for the journey into the centre from T2 and a 40.00 for your journey from T1. There will also be an additional surcharge charge for each bag you're carrying and additional surcharge for Barcelona cruise port destination. You'll find the rates displayed inside the cab. Final price will depend on time and road conditions. All official Barcelona taxis are black and yellow. The taxi service in Barcelona is generally very good, clean and reliable. Taxi to Barcelona Airport. The taxi journey from Barcelona city centre to Barcelona Airport takes about €25 40 minutes. Barcelona taxi cost from the Barcelona Airport will be between €30 and €40 depending on your departure point, the traffic and the time of day. In Barcelona and the municipalities of the metropolitan area, the most common ways to catch a cab in the street is to go to one of the taxi network stops which all of the municipalities have, or to use a hand signal to hail a cab when an empty one is approaching. At the stops, the customer must take the first vehicle in the order of departure at the stop. Circulating taxi drivers cannot pick up passengers within a 50-meter radius of a stop. The most suitable places to hail a cab in the street are the corners. Users must bear in mind that the taxi driver cannot make abrupt maneuvers or stop the car in places that represent a hazard for traffic circulation. The telephone is another effective means of calling a cab. You may request a taxi by calling one of the 20 taxi radio dispatch centers that operate in the metropolitan area of Barcelona. Many of these centers have a fleet management system that allows them to send a taxi to the place requested by the user. The assigned taxi number is communicated by telephone call or SMS message. Lost and found. For lost and found notifications, you can call to IMT at 902-101-564. More information's at IMT website. Incidents and accidents. On October 21, 1994, a Falcon 20 cargo aircraft made an emergency landing at the airport after suffering a malfunction in its landing gear. None of the 3 crew members were injured. On February 19, 1998, 2 people, the commander and the pilot, died in an Ibertrans general aviation plane crash in the borough of Garva shortly after taking off from El Prat. On July 28, 1998, a general aviation cargo plane carrying press from Mallorca crashed next to one of the fences surrounding the airport, killing 2 crew members and co-pilot. On December 3, 2010, during the Spanish air traffic controllers' strike, Barcelona Airport remained inoperative when all Spanish air traffic controllers walked out in a coordinated wildcat strike. Following the walkout, the Spanish government authorized the Spanish military to take over air traffic control operations. On the morning of December 4, the government declared a state of alert, ordering the controllers back to work. Shortly after the measure was implemented, controllers started returning to work and the strike was called off. References. Further reading: Zunino, Eric. Barcelona Airport, Airline World, ppA 40 Euro 43. External links. Media related to Barcelona Airport at Wikimedia Commons, official website.